for joining us at the International Energy Agency today. I'm here with IEA Executive Director, Dr. Fatih Birol. Dr. Birol is going to first give a brief summary of how the IEA sees the current situation in energy markets, and he will then provide some comments on the state of play regarding the release of emergency oil stocks by IEA member countries that he announced last week. Dr. Birol, the floor is yours.
Thank you. Greetings from International Energy Agency headquarters in Paris. The war in the Middle East is creating the largest supply disruption in the history of the global oil market. The volume of oil supply now offline is already higher than the supply loss during the oil shock of 1973, and higher than any of the big disruptions we have witnessed since then. The disruptions in the Middle East are also creating significant challenges in the natural gas markets, as I highlighted last week. And if I may, here, I just want to pause to note that this situation is about more than just energy markets. The conflict is resulting in loss of life and suffering in the region. I would like to express my condolences to all of those who are affected. At the IEA, our focus is on energy, and the market disruption we are currently witnessing has major implications for energy security, for energy affordability, and for the global economy. The IEA has responded strongly and rapidly to this. As we announced last week, 11th of March, IEA countries unanimously decided to launch the largest ever release of emergency oil stocks in the history. IEA countries are making around 400 million barrels of oil available to the market to offset the supply lost from the effective closure of Strait of Hormuz. This quick action by the IEA had a calming impact on markets. Oil prices today are significantly lower than they were 1 week ago. But while our stock release can provide a buffer for now, it is not a lasting solution. As I said last week, repeatedly, the single most important thing for a return to stable flows of oil and gas is the resumption of transit through the Strait of Hormuz. In the meantime, the scale and the growing length of the disruption is already having impacts on economies and consumers around the world. The most immediate effects on energy importers are being felt in Asia. The consumers that are hardest hit by supply shortfalls and the price spikes are in emerging and developing economies in South and Southeast Asia. That is where we are seeing emergency measures, not only for transport, but also for cooking fuels in economies that are short of LPG for cooking. And it is not just the consumers that are being affected. Key producers in the Middle East, such as Iraq, are now being deprived of much of their main source of fiscal revenue. This is the situation we are facing. So let me tell you a bit more about what the IEA is doing, where things stand with our emergency stock release of around 400 million barrels. Dear colleagues, as I speak now, as a result of IEA action, additional barrels of oil are flowing to the market in Asia. And on top of those barrels being released right now, more and more are coming from IEA emergency reserves, both crude oil and oil products. In total, from the IEA collective action, countries in Asia Pacific have committed to release well over 100 million barrels. In Europe, a similar amount. And in Americas, countries are releasing over 170 million barrels, with more additional supply coming over 20 million barrels from increased production. We are coordinating closely with all our member countries to ensure that the oil stocks they have agreed to release reach the market in a timely manner. We are closely monitoring this process. And now, we still have a lot of stocks left. Despite this huge release, we still have a lot of stocks left. This current stock release, once it is completed, will reduce the emergency stocks in IEA countries only by around 20%. In terms of government stocks and industry stocks held under government obligation, if you combine them, there will be still over 1.4 billion barrels remaining, which means we can do more later as and if needed. In addition to full IEA member countries, other countries are looking to see how they can support us. I have been very grateful for the support for the IEA collective action from several countries across the International Energy Agency family governments. These include supports from India, Colombia, Singapore, Thailand, and Vietnam. With this unprecedented action in place, I very much hope the situation will be resolved quickly to enable markets to start recovering. But of course, we also have to be prepared in case it continues for a while longer. And even if the state were to reopen tomorrow, the IEA estimates it will still take time for the global energy trade to recover. With the security situation in the Middle East still very much in flux, the IEA will continue to work closely with the governments around the world to discuss options for responding to the disruptions we are seeing. We have already started to review what information and recommendations we can provide also on the demand side to further support energy security. Dear colleagues, as I said last week, the IEA was founded over 50 years ago with the core mission of upholding energy security. That is what we are doing today for oil markets and what we will continue to do across the entire global energy sector. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Birol, and thank you to all of you who are following us online for your interest. And just to note that the IEA will provide further analysis of the market situation and further details regarding the progress of the IEA collective action in due course. Thank you and goodbye.